is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the second book of Kings. Chapter 17, verse 5 to 8, 13 to 15, and verse 18. Then Shalmaneser invaded Israel and besieged Samaria. In the 3rd year of the siege, which was the 9th year of the reign of Hoshea, the Assyrian emperor captured Samaria, took the Israelites to Assyria as prisoners, and settled some of them in the city of Hala, some near the harbor river in the district of Gozan, in some of the cities of Media. Samaria fell because the Israelites sinned against the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the king of Egypt and had led them out of Egypt. They worshipped other gods, followed the customs of the people whom the Lord had driven out as his people advanced, and adopted customs introduced by the kings of Israel. The Lord had sent his messengers and prophets to warn Israel and Judah, "Abandon your evil ways and obey my commands, which are contained in the law I gave to your ancestors and which I handed on to you through my servants the prophets." But they would not obey. They were stubborn like their ancestors, who had not trusted in the Lord their God. They refused to obey his instructions. They did not keep the covenant he had made with their ancestors, and they disregarded his warnings. They worshipped worthless idols and became worthless themselves, and they followed the customs of the surrounding nations, disobeying the Lord's command not to imitate them. The Lord was angry with the Israelites and banished them from his sight, leaving only the kingdom of Judah. The word of the Lord.
Dear brothers and sisters, and my dear children, isn't it true that often what most irritates us in others is often what most irritates us about ourselves also? I hope you understood what I said. But let's get on to today's reading, the living word of Jesus Christ, and try to understand what it means. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Do not judge others so that God will not judge you. For God will judge you in the same way you judge others. And he will apply to you the same rules you apply to others. Why then do you look at the speck in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the log in your own eye? How dare you say to your brother, "Please let me take that speck out of your eye," when you have a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will be able to see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. This is the gospel of the Lord. Dear brothers and sisters, and my dear children, we have heard many times these words of Jesus Christ: do not judge others. Do not judge others, so that you will not be judged. Well, this is really a command, dear brothers and sisters, and my dear children. Well, if we try to reflect on ourselves, we really understand that we often judge others. We often judge the present situation of the society. While reading the newspapers, we often judge the government officials. We often judge individuals. We often judge the ways and means of our own neighbor. This is something that we are very often used to. But dear brothers and sisters, consider yourself as one of the crowd or one of those, and try to listen to the words of Jesus and reflect on it and reflect over it and just try to understand. When Jesus says, "Do not judge so that you may not be judged." Do not judge so that you may not be judged. He needs this lesson. He tells us this lesson every day in our lives. Well, if you try to judge others, you should be able to realize and turn to yourself and see how if others judge us. This is why I said at the beginning, isn't it true often that what most irritates us in others is often what most irritates us about ourselves? Something that we don't like, it is the same thing that we will not like from others also. Something, if we are able to, or if I am to judge about myself, about my wrongdoings, it is the same thing that I begin to judge or to really begin to challenge something on others. Dear brothers and sisters, we sometimes when we judge others, we are very much uncharitable. We sometimes make uncharitable comments, very uncharitable sometimes in our dealings. Sometimes we are guilty of this. Well, God judges us. How? He judges us favorably. He loves us. His judgment is something that leads us to love Him. His judgment is something that He loves us, dear brothers and sisters. Well, if we can judge our own brother and sisters lovingly, favorably, that is what Jesus expects from us, dear brothers and sisters. We have to enhance the dignity of the other person. This is something which is very important in our Christian living. So, dear brothers and sisters, with the Spirit of the Lord, may your day will be a fruitful one. Thank you and God bless you.
Wachanayano